Welcome to SM Psychological Case Studies, and today we will be talking about another case regarding one of our center's resolved psychological disorder cases. Now, today we'll be talking about Margaret, who is in her early 30s and came into our center simply diagnosed as generalized anxiety disorder. However, while we were gathering more information about her symptoms during our first session, we realized that she might be going through more than that. Now, let's take a look at it. During the session, Margaret said she had started feeling the symptoms about a year ago during her routine shopping. At first, she felt a bit anxious, a little nervous, maybe a bit panicky. But weeks later, the same symptoms reappeared, but this time in a more severe way. She would experience pains in the chest, extremely high heartbeat rates, and bursting into tears for no reason. But by the time she came to us, she was feeling anxious even before she was leaving the house. And she was anxious even before even thinking about going to shopping. Made her feel anxious. Okay? As we were listening, there were some key things that we figured out. She said she was feeling embarrassed, and she was thinking that everyone's attention was on her, and also feeling as if they thought she was stupid. Now that's a funny thing. Well, she did try to cope with her symptoms, such as telling herself in her mind, "Oh, it's not gonna be a heart attack. Maybe there's just a simple panic." And she tried coping by herself, telling herself and attenuating her symptoms for a short amount of time, but it only lessened the symptoms in a short amount of time. She also constantly told herself, "Just pull yourself together. Nobody cares about me," and things like that to convince herself that everyone is busy with their own stuff. This is a really good sign, because this means that she's not simply avoiding it and leaving the shopping mall, but she's trying her best to cope with it by telling herself.
With all the details that Margaret kindly shared, we could track the symptoms and the triggers to them. We realized that her anxiety triggered and peaked when she was around a crowd of unknown people. For example, she would be okay when she's watching TV at home or watering plants. However, she would start feeling anxious during her shopping. This indicates that she might be going through social anxiety disorder. This is not a surprise because about 15 million American adults have social anxiety disorder, and they generally recognize that the fear is unreasonable, but it is hard to control. Thus, people with social anxiety disorder feel powerless against their anxiety and are terrified, they are embarrassed or humiliated by themselves and at themselves. Now, the general symptoms for this typical disorder may become so extreme that they disrupt the victim's daily lives. However, in Margaret's case, she has much hope to recover from it. Margaret herself is keen to look up herself of how to cope with the symptoms and have also tried to break the pattern of avoiding the triggers, in this case, not stopping to shop. Due to the client's willingness to make effort to bring a change, we were able to treat her with some cognitive approaches by having her keep a thought record for a week and constantly challenging her mind to positively self-talk when the anxiety hits, like how she was doing. We also recommended some behavioral challenges for the treatment. For example, we asked Margaret to expose herself into the triggering factors by going to shop in the shopping site where the anxiety started every day instead of once a week. So by increasing the amount of time she's visiting, we are exposing her to the triggers. We also asked her if it is too hard for her to go to the exact place. We also asked her to go into smaller shops such as the 7-Eleven or a drugstore where it is less crowded, and slowly move on to more crowded places until she can finally shop without any anxiety. Margaret is now very excited to see her life being restored. We also strongly believe that as long as she doesn't give up, one day she will be fine shopping even in the midst of being filmed by her staff for a show. Thanks for watching. See you next week.